Hello, can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
You're my favorite girl. You make my simple.
Hello.
Hi.
What's happening?
Spring is around the corner here in New York. Look at my drink.
And I am celebrating my spring break with allergies. I've become a total American, no?
It's Mercury retrograde. That's, like.
You know what Mercury retrograde is, right?
Tell me, I don't know it. Tell me.
Mercury retrograde, I am literally Googling it as we talk. It met every planet retrogrades every
What
month.
does retrograde mean? Can you explain?
Retrograde means that when it's an optical illusion when a planet appears to move backward in its orbit.
How does that happen?
It's just an optical illusion. Now I don't know. So when Mercury appears to move backward in orbit from the perspective of the Earth, so basically something to do with the speed difference or whatever. It's not an actual backward motion. You understand? And this Mercury does it every month or every other month. So like it depends on how it impacts you, and people have just made this big deal out of it. Like all these big magazines like do these things, and it's actually a myth.
I'll tell you something. So obviously, like the Mercury retrograde thing has become very westernized, and the concept has come to pop culture, and it's a very common conversation now on TikTok and all. But I don't know about the planetary alignments and all. I don't follow that too much. I think you'll have more information. But one thing that I truly feel that I can acknowledge as a person is like scientifically, we were taught the moon impacts the tides and everything, right? Like the ocean tides and all the moon impacts. So, my question is if the moon can impact the ocean, such large bodies of water, how can it not impact human beings who are like 70% water? Like, I truly believe and you know how they say like the menstrual cycle and the lunar cycle are somehow linked. Like, I believe there is some truth behind that.
100%.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not saying that Mercury retrograde doesn't lead to, communication problems or things getting stuck. I'm not saying that. But it is happening. Like it happens every 2, 3 months and it stays on for a month. So, I mean, it's happening like every other day. You understand? Like,
So
I
that
mean,
means I can use Mercury retrograde as a reason for everything every month. So I can say, I'll just be like,
blame it
I'm sorry, I'm being
blame it on,
a bitch. Mercury is in retrograde. Sorry.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, but I agree with, okay. So before we like dive into this topic of whatever astrology and horoscopes, I just want to say that I am a true believer of it. Like I am. I believe in the whole, call it pseudoscience or parascience
I
or
think
whatever.
you used to call it soft science, right?
Soft science, yeah, soft science. Genuinely believe, like you said, right? Like I mean, how do you justify that the tides change in relation to the moon, right? Or even the fact that the earth is sort of revolving around the sun. So I mean these things, and they do have, like, we have things like gravity, we have things like the pull and push of different planets. So I mean, of course, the way we are and the way our bodies are, and the way it moves, it is affected by those things. It's like it's a direct connection. And basically, astrology was actually a Greek concept. I mean, of course, there was in Eastern China and India, and I think Nepal also had it for many, many years where they like sort of centered it. But if you go back to like about 450 to 700 BC, it was actually founded in Greece, where actually it was used by men to make important decisions, to predict things and take decisions like kings and important people. Like that's how astrology began as a guiding factor. And then moving on, like, it is what it is now, being adapted slowly and all. And slowly, like, people have started like looking at it as a frivolous concept. Now I don't know, is it because women are obsessed with it, or it became more like a feminine kind of a thing? But obviously it's rooted in something, man. Like I mean, come on, are you trying to tell me that the way the planets move and the way things are like, uh certain retrogrades or certain eclipse, you have like, different planetary factors, they don't affect us. Of course they affect us. Now, to what extent you want to go and believe it is another conversation.
No, I think that's very interesting. And when you said that it was used by men, the astrology or just the concept behind it is also very intricately rooted to our calendar system, right? And there was this conversation, I think it was going around on TikTok and Instagram a while back, about how calendars came out to be. The first calendar that came out to be was 28 to 30 days long. What is the only cycle in human existence biologically that is 28 to 30 days long? Like, who had to track that? It was women.
Women, sorry, women and the
Women.
moon. Two things, yeah.
Moon, but also like women. They were tracking the lunar, like the impact of the lunar thing, but they were tracking their periods.
Menstrual cycle.
They were
Yeah.
tracking the menstrual cycle. So that people are like, I think that is how calendars came out to be. It was, and because astrology also had to be hinged on some like dated thing, right? Like I was reading about the Greek thing, and they did use calendars and dates to understand when it would be best to take decision and things like that. But I think for me, like I know you are a more firm believer. For me, it's more like a form of social cohesion. Like I don't know when you started your conversation on astrology. For me, it started very young. I don't even know if you know this. So for me, it was like my mom is a Scorpio and I'm a Scorpio. So of course, very intense signs in the house. And when the horoscope used to come in the newspaper, obviously she wanted to like inculcate reading habits in me, like reading newspaper habits. Obviously, a young child is not going to sit and read the news, right? So we used to get the Kathmandu Post at home, and the newspaper used to have this section of horoscopes and crosswords and everything. So there she picked up her Scorpio, whatever, her horoscope, and she would tell me, like, this is also you. You're also Scorpio. Let's read it together. So that's how I got into astrology. Now, of course, now I would have every year I would have a different crush. Now I read my crush's horoscope also. So now I read my mother's and my crush's horoscope very like regularly.
Dude, I also used to read in the newspapers, and then there used to be like these entertainment channels where like there used to be this channel called Zoom, which was very popular in India, and I used to be like I used to love it. I was obsessed with it. It had all the masala gossip Bollywood news, and they also used to have this sticker going on. And no one really, like, I was not told by anyone that you should read it or anything. I just always would get drawn to it. Always I would get drawn to it. Like, I would want to read, like, what is going to happen with me, and what is going to, like you said. So I used to read my mom's, I used to read my dad's, I used to read my daddy's, I used to read I used to read my whole family's horoscope. Then I remember even calling up my relatives and being like, oh, you know what, this is what was written, and this might happen, and all, tell me if this happens. So from a very early stage I was fascinated by it. But I don't think, Jesso, that it was just like it is. You can just say that it was an independent thing, because I feel Hindu households generally, so many things are like sort of rooted in astrology, right? I mean, such big events like from when a child is born to what it should be named, what should be the letter, to when their like shaving of their head, mundan ceremony should happen, to like so many
To like
childhood.
weddings, everything. Like,
And then you go on, and like weddings, and who you should marry, and why, and when should the child be born, like the whole cycle, right? Like, and for very, like, for major illnesses, and if you're having a financial problem and all, you always have like you have a doctor handy, you have an astrologer handy, who you sort
yeah.
of consult.
But in the Hindu horoscope, what are you in the Hindu horoscope? Because ours, like our horoscope thing is quite intense. Like the guru comes home and like reads the horoscope and all that. I'm a Libra. My
Oh.
guru, so it's very interesting. That's because I feel like my belief system is slightly different from yours, and as every individual's will be. And even with my guru, I keep asking. He's an engineer. He's a very educated, very highly
A lot
educated,
of astrologers are, I
right?
just want to tell
Yeah,
you.
he's an engineer. And one of my first questions, because in my head, when we talked about science versus pseudoscience, right? Of course, these people are are educated, the new generation, let's say maybe his father was not educated, I'm not sure. The new generation, of course, they're educated, they're earning, but they're also doing this as family passed down, whatever, caste passed down inclinations and work methods. So I asked him one day, I was like, how does this make sense to you? Like, how does it make sense to you as someone who's educated in the sciences and coming to me and telling me about my horoscope and my Nepali or Hindu horoscope? Like, how does it make sense for you?
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
just, if you get down and sit down and read a lot about it, there is a lot of scientific basis for this. And he himself was like, look, I'm an engineer and I make sense of things in this world, but there are things beyond this world also which can make sense through science. So then I was like, okay, fine, bro, read me what my Libra horoscope says. He was the one who told my mother she should become a lawyer because the Libra ka that thing is the tarazu, you know, the equal thing.
Yeah. Yeah. The balance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think from Hindu point of view, I don't know if I'm a Sagittarius or whatever. I think I'm a Sagittarius if it comes from like from the in the Hindu calendar, but the normal Western sun sign, I'm a Capricorn. Since we're keeping it a little like easy and whatever, it's my passion, right? Like
Yes, it is.
I mean, I am not even kidding. I don't know, Jessa, was if it's a dream or if it actually happened, but I genuinely always go back and I don't know whether it's a dream or not. I don't know. But I recall that there is this big dusty Godrej cupboard,
Mm.
and in that there is this Linda Goodwin's books. You know, Linda Goodwin used to have books on each horoscope. Okay. And I have a very distinct memory of going to that cupboard, opening it, and reading each and every book. But it's not possible for me to read each and every book. So that's why I feel that was it a dream? But
But
I
does your house have it? Like, is there
no,
this?
my house didn't have it. It's a
Mm.
strange house in which I've read it. Now,
Okay.
I don't know if I went like for a dinner or, for some kind of like a lunch or something in my childhood with my parents and some auntie had it
Like
or
the
what.
memory is so like it's so fuzzy that you don't know
It's
what it is.
blurred.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm honestly telling you, Jesselina, okay, guys, I write horoscopes as a side thing. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I genuinely like work
No,
with a healer.
I'm laughing, but it's actually serious. Like Anahita tells me my horoscope. It's like it is accurate sometimes.
So I work very closely with a healer, and I happen to manage some of her social media and communications work, like on the side. And she sends me horoscopes every month, and I literally work with her to make sense of it and like predict things. And I've been doing it now for like about 4 5 years. So it's like I just know what is coming and how do I make sense of things.
Okay, okay. Before we go into that, maybe we can test this out. Like, I'm a Scorpio, okay, and I
Yeah,
know you're a Capricorn. So
yeah.
let's try to see if some of the qualities that are generic to these horoscopes actually match with us. Like, you tell me mine, and I'll tell you yours, which I think matches. And my father is also a Capricorn, so I know Capricorns really well.
Those scorpions really well.
Who do you know Scorpios?
I have so many people who have been Scorpios in my life.
Arohi is a Scorpio.
Arohi is a Scorpio, Vrish is a Scorpio, then I have a Masi who's a Scorpio, and I mean, so many people.
Okay, okay. Tell me the Scorpio traits which you think, from your belief, are attuned to me.
Okay, so I'm not gonna like tell you like your thing because I know you beyond your Scorpion
Yeah.
traits, right? Now that's going to be like literally scamming. Not like I'm not scamming people. I don't know. This is the problem. This is the problem, man. Like, is so close to being scammy in the way it is like given out, and the way like our culture and the pop culture has sort of like started using it slightly, that people can find that it's a scam, but there is some truth or something in it. Okay, I'll tell you about Scorpios. Okay, now scorpion Scorpio generally is represented by a scorpion, right?
Mm.
So they are like, first of all, it's a very very sexually charged sun sign. Every scorpion has a sex appeal. Like, you will never find a Scorpio with like a very washed out sexual libido. They always have some or the other kink.
Intense. Like there's some intensity.
There is sexual intensity, and they have their kinks also. That's also there in scorpions. Okay. Another thing with scorpions are that they remember, like if someone double crosses them, or if someone betrays them, then they're so fiercely loyal as people, like it hurts them, it pinches them. But on the other hand, they are also they can also cheat. They can be cheaters. It's not that scorpions don't cheat. They can but if they are committed, and if they are, like, attracted to you, if they are your friends, then they're like fiercely loyal to you. And if you dare double cross them, or if you dare, like, sort of like betray them, they will never forget. Till they're dead, they will remember it, and in some way or the other, in a very petty way, try to get back, like sting back, like a Scorpio.
Okay, I mean there is truth to all of this, but also there's this thing.
Also, they have a little hint, like a Scorpio will always have a little hint of black magic. I don't know. Yes, I want to say, okay, now I'm going into another thing, but it's now when I say black magic, it doesn't mean that they're going to do like Jadoo Tona on you, but they have a very awakened sixth sense.
Mm,
Like
that, yeah, yeah.
they can predict, they can have very vivid dreams, they can have a very strong intuition. Now, in different ways, it can be channelized, but they have this, something that is a little bit like, occult or something.
Mm. No, I think obviously like all of this makes sense because when we're reading all of this and when we know certain traits of certain horoscopes, we obviously know that, oh yes, this applies to this person, oh yes, this applies to that person. But is it confirmation bias? Are we using all of this information? Because apparently there's this thing called the Barnum effect. I don't know if I've.
Yes, I'm just gonna talk about it. The
Yeah,
Barnum effect.
Barnum effect.
No, no, you go ahead. You go.
Apparently it's very like it's like a psychological effect where when people are given very large amount of generic information, you the ability for you to take whatever matches you and to say that yes, that is me. So horoscopes are basically that. They're like large bodies of information that's given to you, strategically placed into like 12 houses, and you're like, oh yes, this does make sense in my personality, yes, this does make sense.
Do you think like something that would be given to like the large body of information that would be, let's say, given to a Capricorn, the same body of information would be given to Scorpio, or they're two different large bodies of
They're
information
two
given?
different large bodies. Like
But
there has to be some segregation.
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so I don't know how much, like, for me, horoscopes is like a social cohesion tool. Like whenever I'm, like, I say this to everyone, whenever me and my very close girlfriends or even new girlfriends, we're all sitting down, there are literally three things that will always come up in a night out. And maybe
Okay.
our listeners will agree to this or not, I'm not sure. Three things that will always come up in a night out: men and patriarchy,
Yeah.
politics and economy,
Yeah.
and the third is horoscope. Now, not always in the same order, it could start from horoscope also, but these three things and horoscope being such an integral part, like the whenever I'm getting along with someone in a conversation, someone new, I'll be like, oh my god, what's your horoscope? And they'll be like Sagittarius, and I'll be like, oh my god, that's why we're getting along. I always get along with Sagittarius.
Yeah, you have so many Sagittarians in your life, actually. And I somehow have a love-hate relationship with the Sagittarian, always. It's crazy how true it has been. A lot of Sagittarians in my life have been very close family members and friends. And I have always had, like, either it's like initial discord, or it is like, we've had a long-term friendship and then there has been a discord, or we have not understood each other, we've gotten into each other's nerves. But then on the other side, there is a discord with Sagittarians, but then I always end up like making up and them always being very close to me also.
So my first ex was a Sagittarian. You never got
Oh,
along.
I never got along with him. I actually, you know what? It was beyond Sagittarians. I never even made an effort to get along with him.
Okay, fine. Second ex was a Scorpio. You got along well with him.
Yeah, he's my friend.
Who? No, that's not that one.
Oh, okay.
Recent second.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, yeah. Okay, the recent one. Yeah, obviously, we got along on House and Fire. I get along with scorpions. I love scorpions. I admire scorpions.
Yeah.
I have this respect for Scorpions. I love their intensity.
That's why you like my mother also.
I respect your mom. So even like my partner's ex is a Scorpio, and I
You
should be
like her.
like, yeah, I should be jealous of her, but I'm not. I genuinely am not. Like she is one person I have never like had major fights with Sahil about her. Like it's because I
So
really respect her.
with Capricorns, I'll tell you what I know, and this obviously is very like limited knowledge. You're the guru, I'm not.
No, no, no. Tell me about what do you
Okay,
think?
Capricorns. And obviously this is like a very biased perspective given I know you and I know my dad. So that's how I know Capricorn. So one is you guys are perfectionists.
Yeah.
Perfectionists, but sometimes it acts to your detriment because Scorpios look at perfection as sometimes antidote to progress. We don't care about it being
Procrastinate.
right. We don't care about it. But you guys are perfectionists, and if you don't get it perfect at any point, you will let it be, but you will not go forward, and you'll
Yes.
just be like, I want to get it perfect. I want to get it perfect. Perfectionist. Second, conversational tone. You guys are very intelligent people, but there is some slight disconnect in what you're thinking and what you want to say. That's why like signs who aren't able to understand the intensity of your thought process might not get you, but signs like Scorpios who understand intensity and who understand that there is more depth to than what a person says, because there's depth in terms of action, there's depth in terms of facial expressions. Scorpios have this ability to read people beyond what they're saying, and I think that's what complements a Scorpio and a Capricorn, because Capricorns aren't the best in articulating something, but their mind might be extremely intelligent. And
My handwriting also, if you've seen, it's like I write like I scribble
mm,
because my mind is working faster than I can express,
mm, mm,
which is why then it gets very difficult for me to like write or talk and catch up with the speed of how much my brain is processing information and
yeah.
in ways it's processing.
Another thing is because
And I've never looked at it like that.
yeah, another thing is for Capricorns, you are very easy to make fast friends, but take time to make deeper friends.
Yeah.
And for Scorpios, it's the opposite. We take more chances to make deeper connections. Like everyday small talk conversations, we're just like, I don't have time for this shit. Like, I don't care. I need friendships which span over a time of 5 years. I don't need 5-minute friendships. Like, if you want to be my friend, like, be in my life for 5 years, then we'll decide if we're friends or not. Right? But for Capricorns, you guys are, you're the center. You can be the center of attention if you want. People are really drawn to you, drawn to your like aura. But you sort of need time to make those very strong connections, and sometimes need to even ask yourselves like, am I putting my time where it's actually required?
It's really specific to me, but generally
No, I know
Capricorn,
Capricorns.
like the rest of their observations are right, but when it comes to this, Capricorns are traditionally prudes. We are
Okay.
prudes. Do you
Okay.
understand? Like, even I have that side of me, like extremely, extremely traditional. They are the rule followers. They won't break rules. If there is a tradition or if there is something in the family that has been going on for years, Capricorns are the ones who carry it forward rather than disrupting. You understand? Also, they are very like extremely routine focused.
Mm.
So if you remember Oswald, did you watch Oswald?
Yeah, yeah. The
Remember Oswald had this best friend Henry, who was a
Yeah.
penguin.
Yeah.
Like that's what a Capricorn is.
Henry's a Capricorn.
Capricorn, like very
Right?
like focused.
Mm.
They want to wake up at the same time. They thrive on routine, and I see all of that happening with me, but I feel there's a clash because then I also have Sagittarius in me, and Sagittarians are opposite of that. Like Sagittarians are like thriving on adventure, unpredictability, spontaneity. That's what gets Sagittarius going. They want to travel every month. They want to discover new places, meet new friends, learn a language. Like those are the things.
Tell me something. As for people who are listening, obviously there is this horoscope side, but there's also numerology, which keeps coming on my Instagram. So now, what to believe? Because my mother keeps sending me everything. She sends me, "You're number 3. You have to do this. You're a Scorpio. You have to do this." So, like, how does that make sense?
Again feel, I genuinely feel, okay, if you look at the rise of horoscope and increase in the consumption of all of these things in a population, you will always see it's at a time when uncertainty peaks. So horoscope came in, like it got published in in some British newspaper 1930, when Princess Margaret was born. Okay, and Princess Margaret was born. It was like she was the princess. So it was like, what do the stars say about the princess? Let's read. And it was at the same time that the stock market had crashed, and there was like, it was the biggest crash in Britain, right? And people didn't know what to do, and they sought uncertainty from something that was beyond them, and that's how they, like, found solace in it. And if you see, like, a more recent example, pandemic, these companies, from CoStar to Sanctuary to Pattern, all these apps that are doing really well with services like personalized horoscope, all of that peaked during COVID because people did not know. They did not know where their career hangs. They do not know if they can meet their partner, what is good, even if they're going to be alive or not. Those were real fears. And what do you go and lean towards? Because, acha, one is uncertainty, like socio-economic uncertainty. Second is lack or religious erosion in a society, which you're not seeing so much in India and, like, Southeast Asian countries, but you're seeing a lot in West. People are becoming less religious, but they
Exactly.
do want an alternative belief system.
No, I was doing my thought process before this conversation, and I was thinking what all has pushed people into this pseudoscience, if you call it, or like, and I don't think it that's limited to numerology, horoscope. I think it extends to godmen that has taken South Asia by a storm. Puki Baba, like, why is he on everyone's feed at this point?
Love Pookie Baba.
Like, why is he on everyone's feed?
Pookie Baba does not predict anything. Pookie Baba
No,
just gives.
I'm telling you the Lord. Pookie Baba, cute, great, woke man, feminist at
Listen, Pookie
times.
Baba is lovely.
But
I love him.
with the overall conversation, I think it's like when politics is failing you, when your politicians are failing you, and when religious leaders are failing you, who do you go to? Right? You need some form of alternative ideas that help you act, like helps you act like a crutch when you need something to hold on
Yes.
to. And
Yeah.
for me it's not just about organized faith, it's not just about horoscopes. I think human beings at any point of time are not the most emotionally intelligent people, because we have so many aspects of our lives that are at times in turmoil. We need something to have a crutch on. So I think all of this, like you said, when your politics is failing you, when the economy is failing you, when your job is failing you, when you don't have religious leaders, or you're questioning your faith based on what religious leaders are doing versus what you're feeling, because you're like, wait, but my faith doesn't tell me to hate person A, person B, but why are these religious leaders following a certain pattern? So then you start thinking of what you can believe in. And I think something that is so generic but also can be objective,
Harmless.
simplified, and harmless, right? So I think.
At the end of it, your horoscope is your horoscope. You
Mm, mm.
understand? And it's very limited to, like, it's very limited to your personal things. What will you do in your love life? What will be your partner? How will your job work? How will your health be? It's not dependent on what someone else is doing. It's literally your life, you as Anahita, your planets, and how your behavior. So it's a very selfish way of, like, a very selfish prediction, or a very selfish way of making sense of things. And that works for people, especially, like, Gen Z and young millennials, who do not sort of, like, who are independent, becoming more individualistic in their attitude, is my assumption. Horoscopes and these kind of things work for them. If you see, I was reading all these co-founders of, like, CoStar and Pattern and all that, like, when they give interviews and all, they pitch astrology and they pitch these horoscope services that they provide through their apps as therapy. Like, these are the words that they use. They say that it makes a person feel good, it makes a person make sense of things. It is like, a mental crutch, and it helps them.
But how far does this go for you? So I have certain horoscopes that I'm not a fan of. Of course, I have friends from that certain horoscope. Don't ask me which one. I don't
Feel bad. It's
look.
fine.
I love all the people in my life. I just want to
I just told you Sagittarians I don't get
okay.
along with
No, I will tell you. I have some challenges with Geminis.
that. My mom is a Gemini, guys.
And I love your mom. I love your mom, and I love our other friends who are Geminis as well. But there, for Scorpios, I think it's very like it is what it is. Like on the face of it, if you are A, that means my life is A. Geminis have A, also they have B, also they have C,
A
D.
dual personality,
They
yeah.
have a lot of personalities, and I feel like I get along with some of their personalities, but some personalities and their traits don't make sense to me. And I'm just like, who has the time? Again, like, like I said, like Scorpios are so intense and
My God, you with a Gemini. Gemini women are still like, they have a way with, because Geminis are very strong with their communication skills, right? And their social skills. Automatically, they catch a room's attention. But Gemini men can be
yeah.
so vicious. Like, you will never get along with a Gemini
That's
man.
why I want to time having children in a way that they're not Geminis. I need to do that.
Close to some, like, I am very close to Gemini men also, like, somehow.
Really?
Yeah, like,
Who do you not? Aquarius, you like?
oh no. They can be very sensitive, they are very giving and all that, like that's there. But Aquarian men have this very intrinsic tendency of being misogynistic and chauvinistic. Like, I mean,
Oh
at
God,
least,
this is scaring me.
yeah, no, because you know what is with Aquarians? They are rule breakers. Aquarians will always be the ones who will try to follow an alternative path. They are the ones who might like not believe in systems. They will not believe in structures. They will create their own structures, their own systems, their own rules. A lot like Sagittarius, but a little like, whatever. And then they are also philosophers, Aquarians.
Feel you're describing your ex at this point.
No, no, no. Aquarius. Like, if you literally read Aquarius, Aquarius sun sign is a man holding like uh, a jar of water or whatever. Aquarians are philosophers. They are, like Aristotle could be an Aquarians. It's like that. Like they
He
are.
could be.
Yeah, I don't know. You want me to see Aquarius
If he is,
philosopher?
this would be crazy.
Yeah, see. Oh my God, so many geniuses. Geniuses. Aquarians are supposed to have like this very unconventional brain. So they are the ones who are like who invent things. So it comes with like, it comes with that sort of like that risk that Capricorns don't want to take.
But for me, I think with Gemini men, that's the problem I have had. I know so many Gemini men, and the minute I don't get along with the man, you know what my favorite question to ask them is,
You a Gemini?
"Are you a Gemini?" And they'll be like, "Yes, I am." I'll be like,
And
"Okay." Then
between
I'll be like, "I need to move away from this conversation."
It is a difference between Gemini and Aquarius. Aquarians are not frivolous. You understand? They can be misogynistic, they can be petty or whatever, but it will always come from a deep rooted belief system. Now, that can be right or wrong. Geminis are very frivolous as people. Like, they can be extremely frivolous. Like, their basis of hating you, judging you can be a rumor or a gossip that they have heard. So, that is something that, might not settle with you
Yeah,
because you're just like, how, like, where is your base? Where is your ground?
yeah.
And they change their opinions also quickly. Like they can like someone, they can dislike someone, they can talk shit and then talk well about that
Yeah.
person also in the same breath. So
I
that is there.
feel like some of the most easy to get along sign is Virgo. Every Virgo I've known has been so easy for me. Like all my
Vir-
life, men and women both.
Virgo is my sign. I was born to be around Virgos.
But
My
I'm
dad
not. But Virgos, but they're easy, but they are very subdued and more muted. Like the intensity of Scorpio is if it's here, Virgos are like much lower in their intensity. So I think for me, friendship is what I see in Virgos.
business partners.
Okay,
Business partners.
cool.
Virgos, it's my most beloved sign. I am just attracted to Virgos. Like
Yeah, I
very intrinsically. My dad is a Virgo, my brother is a Virgo, so I'm talking in order of my knowing. Dad is a Virgo, brother is a Virgo, my older sister is a Virgo, my younger sister is a Virgo. Five, six of my best friends growing up. were Virgos, and now I'm married to a Virgo. Like it's like that, like and Virgo and Capricorn, like I used to read a lot when I like started dating Sahil. Before that also, it used to be like every time I asked a horoscope thing, or every time I did one of those calculators that which would be the sign I would get along with, it would always like bring Virgo to me, like 10 on 10 Virgo. Because Virgo and Capricorns are like earth signs, right?
Yeah.
So we are very practical and we can like understand each other's like Capricorns are very ambitious, driven people. Virgos are also very like mindful about it. So they like bring that energy. It becomes like a power couple relationship.
So for water signs, I'm a Scorpio. I'm a water sign. I've dated Scorpios, and I've had like flings with Pisces and Cancer.
Yeah.
Pisces and Cancer, but they're not like, they don't have that intensity that Scorpio men have. Like Pisces and Cancer men, they're very like they get along with water sign women really well, but they're very like here, not like friendly, like like not something deep. So what is it for water sign women that you would recommend?
Thanks for like making me an astro expert. For Scorpio, I feel Scorpio is a great pair.
Okay, I'm gonna
Honestly.
think of that. That's not happening next.
Then Scorpio is a very good pair. Scorpio Sagittarian is a very good pair. Because they bring that excitement in your life that you see.
Maybe I should try a Capricorn man.
Capricorn might bore you.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
telling you, Capricorns are
I'll
thoda
go
sa
back to Sagittarius then. Fine. What to do?
yeah, Capricorns are a little boring. I just want to tell you.
You're boring.
I can be boring. Honestly, I can be. Like in my day to day, I can be boring. Like I'm very like, eat my ghar ka khana, follow my like routine, and read my book, watch my TV. I'm that kind of a person. I don't feel the need to keep going out all the time.
Okay. That's just old age catching up with all of us. But anyway,
Always been like that. Always.
okay.
Capricorns are old souls.
Old souls. Yeah. Yeah. Not my vibe. Just give our listeners some free horoscope advice based on water sign, air sign, fire sign. Like what should be friendship and love. Like what should be for different signs.
Should I like open? Wait, let me do this very quickly. I'll do this. Like I'll do a quick
I think it's
word.
nice giving like free services now.
No,
For
I was thinking, why not? Let me just open what are the 12 horoscopes and give like quickly one line. Okay. Aries, okay? Aries are very temperamental, okay, aggressive, driven by like fire. So very like, it's a Red Bull sign, go-getters. So they do not like settle for like anything that is not ultimately getting them to win. Okay? Taurus, I love Taurans. They are the homemakers. They are like the people who will host you, who will open, their house for you. Very giving, very like nice people, and very stable also. Like Taurus is another sign besides Virgo that Capricorns get along very well with, and Virgos get along very well with. Uh, Taurus. It's like Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn is a very good match. Geminis, we discussed Geminis, like, they're social butterflies, extremely intelligent. You will never find a Gemini who's dumb. They are very, very, always well read, always very, like, up to date with news and all that. But yeah, they have this tendency of gossiping and talking and, like, being a little frivolous. Cancer, oh my god, the most sensitive sign. My grandfather was a Cancer. They are like coconuts. Outside they are like very hard, so they will give this like this tough personality, but they're like teddy bears inside, like marshmallows, melt like this. Extremely emotional. So if you can manage a little bit of like sappiness in your relationships and in your friendship, and like people who when they open up want to like always be very emotionally reliant, like dependent on you, then that's Cancer. Leo is a lion sign. They're leaders, extremely glamorous people. They'll always like, attract success, wealth, luxury to themselves. They are very, very intensely like, you'll always see business leaders and people who are like very, very successful, but also in the limelight. Virgos, we discussed. Virgos are like OCD. very very cleanliness freak, like they like things their way, can be very strict and stubborn with themselves also, have control issues, but very very practical lovers. So if you like that kind of sincerity, Libras is all about balance. But the problem with Libra is that sometimes they get caught up in their own diplomacy. They become too diplomatic. So they don't know, they cannot speak about them. Like they cannot take a stand sometimes, Libras. So always like trying to like play the balance game. That is with Libras, very good diplomats, lawyers, etc. Scorpio, I think we discussed enough. We know about Scorpio. Sagittarius also, they're like adventurous, love to like go out. They're like, these free spirited people. Capricorns we discussed. Aquarius, very, very intelligent, intuitive, always like creators. They are the creators. Pisceans are dreamers. So you'll find a lot of artists who are like Piscean. They dream a lot. They are in their own world. They can like get lost also sometimes. Like thoda sa lost, but very loving and yeah, mostly a lot of people who are in fashion, design are Pisceans. Oh wow, I did a quick rapid fire.
But then, no, that was actually great. You know what? That here's the thing. Now, all of this information in today's world, I was just thinking, in a capitalistic AI-driven world, all of
Yeah,
this is being fed through that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like you were
So
telling.
you don't know. Obviously, they can be very different. Like in my own house, I have two different type of Virgos. My dad is another Virgo, and my brother is another type of Virgo. But then there are his type of Virgos also, and then there are my dad types of Virgos also, and all of them are Virgos. So it is there. So it's obviously very nuanced. And tomorrow, if someone comes and tells you that on the basis of your sun sign only, like just because you're a Scorpio, I can predict things for you, it is going to be 80% wrong, 90% wrong. It is a theory, right? I don't know if you read it, that this psychologist, what he did was he mailed some of his sample people like this prediction about themselves, like about their traits, okay, and it was based on their horoscope. So he sent it out to people and they all came back and they were like, oh my god, this is so good, this is so accurate. Turns out he literally just jotted down the horoscope depending upon the birth date, time of birth, place of birth, etc. He jotted down and made like a horoscope prediction of a murderer and sent those traits to 50 of his sample students. And all of them identified to something or the other and found it accurate when looked at from their point of view.
Yes, that is there, and of course, it's insane to think that people are still able to relate with that. But when people talk about astrology, the conversation is there is some science behind it because it is related to astronomy, right? Astrology is related to astronomy, and I think when people were discussing AI, there was this scientist Alexander Boxer. I don't know if I'm getting his name wrong. And he talked about apparently how we're looking at large language models, basically how you have databases to create AI.
Yeah,
That one of the first databases that people had in the early days was database about planetary alignments, and how that information now is being fed into the modern day databases to create AI that tells you horoscope. So he was like, this is almost like such a interesting cycle that we've come to,
but
because
have you tried ChatGPT ka astrology
I've
feature?
not tried ChatGPT, but I have CoStar, and CoStar has this very cute option also where you can send a message to your future self or your future partner, like the partner at that time. You can tell them something nice. But CoStar is my go-to. I think it's quite accurate and it gives me information beyond my sun sign, because my sun sign is only Scorpio, right? But I also have a moon sign which is also Scorpio, but
Wow.
I have a rising which is Sagittarius because I'm a cusp. I'm born 21st November, so that's a cusp sign. So CoStar tells me a lot. I don't have the paid chat GPT, so I don't do it.
I tried it.
LOL, of course.
But it was very accurate, man. It was very accurate for me. And they literally asked me for my place of birth, my time of birth, and they literally told me certain things about myself that was true. So I don't know. I genuinely don't know if it is like the information that is fed on, that, like, sort of confirms the biases that already agree or whatever. But why I follow this? Because I'll tell you, and this is a conversation for later. I genuinely believe in the power of healing, like Reiki healing. And I genuinely believe in the power of manifestations. I genuinely believe in the power of believing into higher powers to make sense of things around me. It helps me calm down my anxiety, it helps me make sense of things, it helps me get a sense of control, right? And if and I want to just tell you, I don't know if you know this, I am knowledgeable about astrology. I know things about sun sign, but I don't follow it to the T. Sahil and I got married, we didn't show our kundli to the panditji. Like my mom never showed it. We never followed any of those, matching the traits and all that. I've never followed it. But yeah, what I do follow is that I watch my thoughts. I write things down to my future self. I say things out into the universe and I feel it catches my energy and all of that. Now, obviously, if through astrology it helps me like confirm some of the things that, oh, my Jupiter is strong, for instance, that means that I'm going to be successful and it helps me, or that, I have certain problems because of my Saturn, which might give me certain health problems. So I just watch out. So it just like plays as a larger guiding force, but I don't go into like too much. I did go into too much last year, where like I literally started like watching the color I'm wearing and where should this be placed in my house and all, and I absolutely lost it. Like I started showering with like, I changed my name. If you know, I changed my name. I made you also change my name. Like I added A and I and all that because someone told me it might help me. And then I realized that I'm going a little cuckoo, so I like sort of calm myself down a
I
little
think
bit.
that's where you and I like differ and also have similarities, because I know you and me, we like our belief systems and our faith is very different if you go to the nitty gritties of it. But if you go to the base of it, of where it stems from, I think both you and I are very aligned to energy. And I think this is something that I've told you a very long time ago, that I don't like going to tarot card readers because I believe in my energy so strongly. If someone is intensely predicting something is going to happen to me, even if it doesn't, I feel like I will put my energy into that. And that's how I live my life. Like I put my energy into my work, into my friendships, into my family, my relationships, things I want to, see it grow in a certain way. I believe in my energy. I can't control the world's energy, but at least I can control mine, right? So that is my thing, that horoscopes I think is fine. You know what? You just read it and you take it as it is, whether it's for you. But for tarot card readers, palm readers, for them to sit down and tell you this is for you, not anyone else, for you, that
Yeah.
scares me a bit, because I believe in my energy so much that I'm worried how I put it out there, unconsciously or consciously. So I think, for me, that's where I draw the line of how much control I have in my energy and how much someone else is being able to impact that.
I also have stopped like going to like random healers or whatever, but I do have one healer. She has like nurtured my energies in a very, very productive way, like my anxieties and things like that. Like she's the one actually who taught me Reiki healing, and I am like I practice Reiki healing, not very regularly, but if I am to like sit down and do the whole 21-day Reiki practice, then I can literally like solve a lot of issues, at least for myself.
And that's how I see a therapist for me. i'm
Yeah,
i'm very pro therapy. But
yeah.
if someone might be like, how is a therapist and a reiki healer same? And for me, I think what in the at the end of the day, what it does is acts as a mental crutch to you, and you need that in life. Then good for you. Just make sure, you, even whether you're doing therapy, whether you're doing reiki, whatever you're
With
doing,
religion,
whatever mental crutch you're using, you have some objectivity at the end of the day. And even then, right, like even with friends, right, like today I come to you with a problem, you tell me, okay, this is how I see it, I don't know how you see it because you're going through something, but what do you think is the best outcome? Because no one should be making these decisions for you, basically. And I think that's the line of objectivity.
but dude, it's like it's projected to be like what 30 billion industry. I have the data somewhere. 22.8 billion in industry by 2031, astrology related products. Good market, yeah. 4.5 million videos in TikTok if you type hashtag astrology right now.
Chalo, let's put our title as hashtag astrology. Maybe it will,
Hashtag astrology.
maybe it'll catch up. But yes, I think we should wrap up. And I hope this discussion was interesting and light and gives you all a sense of who we are as individuals. If it does at all, I'm a Scorpio cusp. You're full Capricorn, right?
Full Capricorn.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm a Scorpio cusp, but I have very few features of Sagittarius. Very few, but I know I do.
So I'm also a Sagittarius rising, so I also have a few features of Sagittarius. Maybe that's why we get along.
Yeah, I'm also Sagittarius rising. I think that's why we get along.
Yuck. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed, and we're going to be posting some, predictions, etc., for fun. So do send us your questions on Instagram or comment on this video, and we'll try to answer some of the knowledge that we have. And bye.
Cause you're my favorite